Hello everybody. Rainy day today, miserable, wet, sullen day. Karen decided to visit me, and while we didn't go to the site, my grandmother went to the site and complained that the road was too narrow, but we're working on that, and that's okay. So Karen dropped by and we pulled out a dozen or more books on community design and farming and agriculture and building design, and one really keen book was a discussion of intentional communities, that sort of thing. But the most important thing we did today, I think, two of the most important things we did today were organizing the government type thing, the organizational structure of the whole community. And what Karen and I settled on, I'll back up. We looked at the, we looked at the town of Stephenville, land use, subdivision, and advertisement regulations from 91, which is fine because there is no zoning out here. There's no town council. The closest thing to a town council we have is the St. George's Regional Development Organization, which is responsible for providing fire protection and clean water and whatever else. Stephenville's across the bay. It's 40 kilometers across the pond, across Bay St. George. So they don't actually have any bearing on us, but this is good precedent. And really put me on the right track. I'm liking, in some ways, what we have now better than I did before. So, most importantly, there are some definitions I want to share with you. Conditions, Schedule C. I can't promise this will be terribly interesting, but it's important. First of all, agriculture is defined in this as a means, agriculture means horticulture, fruit growing, grain growing, seed growing, dairy farming, the breeding or rearing of livestock, including any creature kept for the production of food, wool, skin, fur, or for the purpose of its use in the farming of land, the use of land as grazing land, meadowland, osier land, O-S-I-E-R land, market gardens and nursery grounds, and the use of land for woodlands where it has an ancillary use to the farming land for any other purpose, and agricultural shall be construed accordingly. Which means we fit agricultural pretty thoroughly. That was important. Another definition for later is an animal unit. Animal unit means any of the following animals or groups of animals. 1 bull is 1 animal unit. 1,000 boiler chickens or roasters, 1.8 kilograms to 2.3 kilograms. Each of those 1,000 makes 1 animal unit. 1 cow, including calf, 100 female mink, including associated males and kits, 100 rabbits, including associated males and kits, female rabbits, 4 goats, every 453.6 kilograms of hog, is 1 unit, 1 horse, 125 laying hens, 4 sheep, including lambs, 1 sow, it's the same thing, 453 kilograms is 1 unit, and 2,268 kilograms of turkeys, ducks, and geese is 1 unit. So if you have 4 sheep, 4 goats, and 1 cow, that's 3 units. If you had 2 horses and 1 cow, that's 3 units. That's important. And that's pretty much the most important stuff there. Now, if we have agricultural land, which is how the area will be zoned, it won't actually be zoned this way, but we're going to use this as a guide, because if, for whatever reason, a government agency gets crotchety and wants us to prove our purpose, because there's such a large-scale project, 44 acres, 17.8 hectares, if I'm not mistaken, I want to go by the book, so they can't complain too much, or at least try to go by the book. An agricultural lot, permitted uses for agriculture. Agriculture, agricultural, animal, and conservation. Discretionary uses, which means if they help and are part of agriculture, not independent. Veterinary, outdoor market, general industry, single dwelling, mobile home, and antenna, like a radio antenna. What's important here? The minimum area shall be 50,000 cubic meters. And our area is square meters. 44 acres is 180,000 cubic meters, so we're okay. Buffer separation from water bodies, we don't have any water bodies, that's okay. Discretionary use classes listed in this table may be permitted at the discretion of the authority, if they will not inhibit or prejudice the existence of the farm. That's okay, too. General industry shall be restricted to the development required for maintenance and repair of equipment, processing, storage, or animal shelter related to a permitted use or the development of such other rural resource-based industry. Which means the general industry we have, pottery, textiles, leatherworking, that sort of stuff, has to be part of the farm or has to help facilitate the farm working. Single dwelling homes, minimum floor area of 70 square meters, which is in square feet, square meters, square feet, 70, 753 square feet, smallest house you can have. And any shall not be permitted within 600 meters of the structure designed to contain more than 5 animal units. That's why I mentioned that earlier. So 600 meters is quite a distance. That's about a third of the entire length of the property. So as long as each barn, we call it a barn, chicken coop, whatever, has less than 5 animal units, we can get under this particular code. And as long as the houses are larger than 753 square feet, we can get around that code. So, standards and conditions of development shall otherwise conform with the prescribed for the residential rural zone, which is on page 15. Okay, this, in as brief as I can, residential rural is a single dwelling or recreational open space with a minimum lot area of 5,000 meters squared. So 5,000 is 53,000 square feet. Roughly 140 feet by 380 feet. Is each lot, each house, each cottage will have an area 140 by 380 minimum. A minimum floor area of 80 square meters, which is 861. So I'm not sure which one to follow. I'll follow the bigger one so that I don't get caught. Minimum frontage of 30 meters, which means, where am I? Length meter, foot, 30. 98 feet of that property has to be along a road. That's all, a road. Whatever the driveway is attached to, because in case you're in the cul-de-sac or whatever, as long as a driveway is on a road that is a 100-foot wide bit of land with road on front of it. The building line setback, which is how far from the center line of the road you can start construction, has to be between 50 and 100 feet. You can't build any farther away than 100 feet or any closer than 50. 50. You can't build within 10 meters, 30 feet of one fence, or 15 feet of another fence. That's okay, we're going to build in the middle. You can't build any closer, your house can't be built any closer than 100 feet to the backyard, to your back fence. And you can cover no more than 4% of the entire area. So, what do we say is 53,000? 53,000 times 0.04. Times 0.04. Your house can be no larger than 2,100 square feet in footprint. You can have like 4 stories or 1 story. It's still the same footprint. And you can't build any higher than 8 meters. 26 feet. That's the crest of your roof. Can be no higher than that unless you want to go through more red tape. So those are the boring numbers for this. So because of that, I had to reassess the design for the community. Now we have... actually, for now I will cut scene and try a voiceover of the map, and I'll do a little description of what's going on, and you'll get a better idea as I'm showing you with the mouse and my voice. So let's hope this works. Okay. This is the project. I had rotated the actual scene. This should look familiar. So that the actual lines for the community are directly up and down, due north and south, I suppose. But it is still the original angle. I believe it's off by 36 degrees. Either way, this is easier for the program and easier for our minds to absorb. So we know that this area from here to here, from here to here, is 330 feet. This distance is 50 feet, and the distance between these two lines is 6 feet. These are the survey lines that will be cut up the entire length in a straight line, so that the whole property, you can look down the entire length, we'll block that off later, and put a fence along. The current projection is that along this whole line, roughly where this line is right here, so along there, is our boundary, because we actually can't build within 33 feet of the road. That still technically belongs to the government. So, we'll build a line of pyramid cedars. Very regal plant, I rather like them. We'll plant them 3 feet apart to make a privacy fence, and that'll be our opening. Now, at current projections, this area, which is 400 feet, there we go, and this area is 140. So, this is lot 0, this is lot 0A, I guess. This whole front area, 400 by 330, will be isolated, left completely alone, with the exception of the road being cut away. All the brush will be cleared. You should have seen that in the previous video. And up to about halfway, or nearly halfway, I don't really care too much where that point is, we will have all the brush cut off the trees, and all the small trees cut away. We'll have a beautiful, large forest, only big trees, with moss on the floor. A great covered, enclosed place to get out of the sun on a hot day and have a picnic underneath a tree or whatever, play with the chipmunks and the squirrels. And that will be roughly this area. I'm not too concerned where it stops up here. Otherwise, this area, we're going to clear away completely every tree except for the very big ones, and that will be Cayley Park. That'll be the picnic area, the public meeting area, that's where the farmer's market will go, and that sort of thing. So, as we go up, lot 1 and 2, we will find a road, which I haven't drawn in here yet, but that's neither here nor there. So we're talking something about 5 feet wide. On either side, here and here, will be the road, so I'll make that green. Construction line green. So this is a road where this building will have a house constructed here, and this constructed here. I might put that road on this side, I haven't decided yet. It's rather a small detail, but the fact remains there have to be roads between the properties, because this will be the front or the back to the property. This will be the opposite side, the frontage and the rearage, what have you. 400 feet long, 140 feet wide. And the property will have different easements, like I mentioned. And, for example, we can't build within 50 feet of the front. 50 feet, rather, not inches. 50 feet of the front. And 100 feet from the back. We can't build within 30 feet of the road side. 30 and 30. We can't build within 15 feet of the opposite side. So we will trim this off. There. Okay. There. Now that I've got this area cordoned off, it is, as you can see, 95 feet wide, and it is 250 feet across. That area is where we can build the property. However, we can also only build something about 700 feet in size. So we'll figure out what 700 feet square root, 26 by 26. So 26 feet. Line. 26 feet by 26 feet. Close. This is the smallest area that we can build, and as we remember, we had 2100 was the largest we could build. Square root 46. So 46 feet by 46 feet by 46 feet. Close. And we could build this, doesn't really matter where, say there. So as long as this is the largest we can build, that is the smallest we can build. This is 4% of the full area, if you recall, and this is the smallest that we're allowed. So the driveway could be there. We'll go with that size. If the road is on this edge, then we could have the driveway would have to go in the 50 feet in there to the main house. The rest of the area we can build whatever we like. The exterior buildings, the barns, the sheds, whatever can be in the entire extra space. And this area is about 1 1/4 acres in size. Nearly a hectare. So that's this. And we can have, as you can see, 26 of such lots. And I say 26 because these don't count. We could have 26 lots, each with a family of, I'd say, 4 or 5 people, an average of 4. And you can see that we just missed that pond. What a shame. And if my angles are right, they should be pretty close. We're only 80 feet off the edge of that pond. That's on Don Downey's land. I wonder what it would take for us to get some access to that. That's another matter entirely. But 26 houses. So theoretically, we can have about 100 people if we have 4 people per house. So the idea Karen and I had discussed was a sociocracy-based system where each industry has a guild, and the guild has maybe up to 10 people who work there or are concerned by it, have worked there, still work there, plan to work there. They discuss among themselves as a council, and they elect one person to represent them, or 2 people to represent them on the higher level tier. That guild will attend, the representatives of that guild will attend the Grand Council. Myself will be there, Karen will be there, Jessica Miley from Georgia will likely be there. She's been involved in that project for years. And along with the guild representatives. And the guild want an idea, they want a greenhouse, they want a new lathe, they want a new whatever. They make a proposal amongst themselves following the rules that we all set down together, and they present that to the council. The council will have a limited budget, of course, limited manpower, limited resources. We discuss amongst ourselves and pick which proposal goes through. We will give that to the representative, who brings it back to the guild and discuss it further. That type of thing. But that is the meat of what we discussed today, along with some dietary stuff, getting some little quibbles out of the way, making a shopping list for the remainder of the community for the next year or so. But this is it. This is a main body. Each person who moves in will get access to a lot 400 by 140 along the main road, but they'll probably only have probably 10 feet all the way around, and everything inside could be completely stripped, cleared away with a natural tree belt. So let's say that particular belt were about 20 feet in size. Then this area, all this here, would be left alone, isolated, not cut down for privacy screen. And that would be the preference, so that you wouldn't be able to see the traffic and traffic couldn't see you. And if you wanted visitors, they'd have to come in and knock on your door or walk through a trail, whatever. But basically, so we aren't on all display, which is what I would prefer as a community rule. The chief concern that Karen had in closing was we haven't walked the property yet. So I will turn off the unnecessary layer. Turn you. And you can see, get rid of that the territory is quite diverse. You can see that the territory is very wooded in some sections and heavily wooded in others. And there is this trail that predated Mr. Downey. And further up, we get some wet sections. And that becomes problematic when the area we intend to have houses could be very swampy. 11 and 12 might not even be worth building on. 10 might not be worth building on. Which means we'll have to somehow plow a road through, build it up. 13 and 14 look great. And then the back section, right? 18, 20, 22, 21 are full of trails, probably for rabbit snares and things. And that's really difficult to work with. So that depends on what we have. We might end up leaving this to wet type agriculture. We might lose 2 houses, but we might have less pressure for the individual lots to have their own livestock and things. So the main road will waver back and forth along this line so that you don't see the full 5,754 feet, and have some privacy, and it'll make the community feel smaller and that sort of thing. But suffice to say that the public area will be this particular forest that will have all the small brush cleared away, so you can play and not risk having your eyes gouged out with a branch. And the upper section, so forest down here, and all cleared away park area with gardens and little fish ponds and rock paths and water fountains and waterfalls. All that will be that area. With the housing lots will begin 400 feet up, with each one 400 feet deep. So, that's it for this, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it all worked, and I appreciate you watching and being patient with me. Hello again. That worked out pretty well. I was rather pleased with how that worked, considering I'm only using a pretty cheap gooseneck microphone thing. My blue snowball microphone. Snowball? Yeah. That I had used for my audio recordings for my grandmother is still in Corner Brook. Frederick is still using it. Still in his possession. So, that worked out well. That idea, the new lot layout that we figured out today, is lot example number 2. The previous one had the lots being horizontal long ways. This one is they're all vertical long ways. This, I'm not as happy with this one as I was for the first, because I like the idea of them all being more densely stacked. But, at least this way, if we clear 400 feet of road, we can make the road cut off, and that's the end of the property. We can clear 800 feet, cut off the road on top and bottom, and then we have 4 more full blocks. So, that actually works out well. We can clear the survey lines on either side up to the lot that we're developing, so we know how far not to cut, how far to develop. So, primo, perfect. I'm going to upload this now and see how it looks. Thanks again for watching. Even though it's a rainy day, we're still hard at work with the Tirtongiro Eco Village Founders Committee, whatever. A lot of good work done today. So thank you so much to Karen, and I'm looking forward to questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. And I'm really excited. This is really great progress, and we shall see how it goes from here. Cheerio, and have a great day.